Here's a funny thing that is actually not that funny. Oh, this is my blonde friend. He's a troublemaker. He's my first friend. This is the girl one.
So maybe that's my fault for liking farming simulators and car seat headrest. Maybe I'm just in the realm more often than I think.
So Jackson, when did Steam get so horny?
Steam is horny. This is breaking news. The people need to know. Steam's just too horny.
I don't know how I missed that. It's a very obvious development, right? But like somehow I did miss it until like today.
I mean, I'm not much of a Steam gamer. I don't really buy games on Steam very often. I just kind of every once in a while I'll open up Steam to fire up, I don't know, FTL or something. And yeah, today I was looking for farming simulator type games on Steam. And like, you know, like life sim, farming sim, you know, like Stardew Valley-esque.
Yeah, normal shit.
It's all just like porn. It's all just porn. And it's all furry porn at that. Like it's not like it's like fully in the realm
American
drinking
porn.
the nectar.
Mm-hmm.
I would say furry porn is good American porn.
You know what? I'll acquiesce to that.
Acquiescence. Appreciate the acquiescence. Are we going to Anthrocon?
The more I think about it, the more I think that it's not the greatest idea to go to a place full of people where it's just like, hey, I've made fun of you before.
You made fun of furries?
Yeah, dude.
Why?
I haven't yeah, you don't I don't know, man. I just did. It was back in the day. I haven't done it in a while,
well,
but
it's
like
okay.
I still
You
did
can
it.
apologize.
Hey, furries. Sorry I made fun of you back in the day. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I thought furries were weird.
It's okay. Furries probably made fun of themselves back in the day.
They probably still make fun of themselves if we're being honest.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when I was like 13. Now, let me crunch the numbers here. I was probably 14 or 15 because it was 2011 or 2012 when the first like big car seat headrest album had was it Twin Fantasy, the 2011 version had come out, and I was listening to it and I was like, yo, this goes really hard. And then I was like online, like listening to it on like, I don't know, Bandcamp or wherever you got your music back in the day.
Yeah.
And everyone online and like people that I knew in person as well were just like, yeah, that's like a furry band for furries. And then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna listen to it.
I'm glad that you stood up for what you believed in and stopped listening to that furry music.
Because I was like, I don't want everyone to like call me a furry for listening to this band. Fast forward now, certified one of my favorite bands. You know, a pretty regular top 5 Spotify appearance. And yeah, I'm not. It's because I'm not afraid that people will think I'm a furry anymore. Apparently, it's because the initial album art was done by like someone who went on to be or was a prominent furry artist.
Wait, that's it? Jeez, there's so many better connections that could have existed.
I know it's just entering the realm and drinking of the nectar, you know? There's nothing wrong with commissioning a furry artist to do something.
Also, like, not for
They're
nothing,
artists.
That's barely even entering the realm and like drinking the nectar, you know? Like,
it is like 2 little dog things hugging.
Okay, never mind. I take it all back.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up for you.
Nah, appreciate it. Yeah,
it is
not
so I shouldn't have
familiar.
Googled Twin Fantasy.
Oh yeah. No, that's maybe open with car seat headrest.
Why is all right? It's this image. That's it. I'm making it my profile.
Yeah, no, that's
for my desktop background. Come on, they're like friends or something.
I get it though. I get it. Like why? I get it as in like I get why people would have immediately thought of them as a furry band, but
here you go.
Yeah, that's far worse. Why would you send me Fantasy Twins?
Yeah, it's because I looked up Twin Fantasy, and then Fantasy Twins, it appears to be 2 scantily clad women looking at the camera, as if they are the twins you fantasize about. Wrong. It's only furry musicians for me.
Yeah.
I thought you got a problem?
No, I think that like with our pre-show being talking about like that Steam is just becoming so horny recently, and now here we are. You know, it's just funny. You know, it's a little funny.
I find it kind of funny. In fact, I find it kind of sad.
Fair enough.
You're never gonna guess.
Is that...
So yeah, anyway, that's been my experience.
You know, I have a really good feed right now, and I'm not seeing any porn games in like the current like what top games.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on my
so
like feed that like they're not like showing up on my feed. It's that when you go looking for something.
Well, no, because mine, I clicked on store and I scrolled down, and then the very first thing in the new and trending tab was Hard Times at Sequoia State Park.
Hard Times at Sequoia State Park. It's one of those games that I'm a huge fan of the story element of it. That's not true. I know nothing about it other than it is like straight up just like a porn game. You know what? Here's my theory actually. I got a working theory for you, and I don't know when the pornification of Steam began. Also, this is because, you know, there's just like a whole bunch of porn in the farming simulator category. So maybe that's my fault for liking farming simulators and car seat headrest. Maybe I'm just in the realm more often than I think. But I feel like maybe with the death of Flash, Steam kind of became, because like, you know, everybody, you know, whenever you were on any kind of torrenting, pirating, any kind of website that was selling explicit advertisements, there was always a ton that were like, click here for free Flash porn games or whatever. And that's not a thing anymore.
It's not. You know what? I hadn't thought of that. So my guess makes a lot of sense. It had to go somewhere.
I guess that it went to Steam. Although it seems to me like the Steam ones are of higher quality, and they cost money.
Yeah, because the Steam ones, it actually looks like somebody actually like was like, I want to make a game that also happens to be a porn game, and instead of I'm gonna make a porn game.
Yeah, and it's honestly, I hate to say it, but when I was looking at the farming sim games, that Cloud Meadow, it looks like just like a pretty well made, like fun game to play. That just has a whole bunch of porn in it. And like obviously, not buying it, not playing it. I've got other things on my agenda.
Yeah,
but like, it doesn't look like it's just like some like low energy, low effort, like smut. It looks like it's actually someone was like, I care a lot about making this good.
I want to make good sex game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want it, but I do think people who do probably deserve to have like a game that's not the worst.
Yeah, give them something fun, you know. Anyway, Noah, what games have you been playing lately? This guy's been playing Hard Times at Sequoia State Park.
Latex Dungeon.
No.
Fuck, what a name. No, I've just been playing. I've been playing Persona 5 a lot recently.
Is Latex Dungeon an actual name of game, or did you just say that?
Nope, it is an actual name of a game.
I'm seeing it. Yeah, I looked up Latex.
Yep.
There's also Latex Tentacles, which seems to be by the same people because it uses a similar font. Oh, there's also Femdom Waifu Latex Suits Pack, but that's DLC.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is
DLC for Femdom Waifu.
Yeah, of course. This is, you know, the more I'm learning about this, the more unhappy I am.
A game where the perfect anime waifu will train, dominate, deny, and humiliate you. Doesn't it sound great, slave? First of all, rude. Second of all, no, because it's not real. It's a computer.
It do be a computer. Now, what about Furry Cyberfucker? Is this what you would like instead?
Hold up, is that a game too? Oh,
yes.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, it is. Furry feet. Furry feet. Furry, are you seeing this?
No,
Jamie.
I pulled off that page. I
put this on the screen. No, a furry feet.
I will not put
furry feet, or pause if you prefer. Does anything else has to be said? Yes, something else has to be said. I'm sorry. It's like a click and match puzzle game that seems incredibly low energy. I'm sorry. This looks like it's not that well made.
Yeah, probably not.
But the bundle. Let's see what the bundle is. You got anime feet.
I can't.
I sense there's something. Okay, you know, anime feet, tentacles, furry feet, tentacles. Aim Master H, 18 plus content. I'm sorry. This is a hater take because this is like coming from like Furry Sympathizer Supreme, and it's like What's up with women and guns being like anime women and guns being a thing?
It's because that's what. Oh, what was it? There was some meme group I became aware of, or like a Facebook group that someone was like clowning on. That was like a come and take 'em style group, you know, and it
Mhm.
was pretty much just a bunch of like anime girl posting.
Yeah, I feel like the thing about anime girls and guns is when I hear like or see someone being like, "Yeah, that's hot," I'm like, "Ah, Republican, huh?" I'm like, "Ah, you're into some alt-right shit, huh?" You're I calls it like I sees it. Thoughts?
I'm
Just because
Yeah, no.
anime profile pictures and gun obsessions, just like those two things scare me when they combine.
No, 100%. 100%. Um, okay, so I'm having a wonderful time just like scrolling through the not safe for work tag and looking at titles, right? On Steam.
Yeah,
But then I found this game called Click to 10, and
that sounds pretty easy,
it's
honestly. I think I could
it's
beat
a
that
free to
game
play game tagged hentai action psychological horror god game. And
in
as
that
far
order,
as I
huh?
can tell, you just click on the screen and it goes from 0 to 10. I'm not
That
sure
sounds pretty cool.
if there's more to it than that. I really don't want to download it because it seems really it I don't
I mean,
know.
I'll be a hater till I die about subversive games, but like, and I'm not even sorry. This episode is just like lava. It's infernal. Nobody's safe. Um, like we came out the gate talking about furry porn and then looking at feet pictures on
Yeah,
Steam.
there's this game called
But
Bad that is just feet. It's a
but
shooter
I
where the
hate
stage is
subversive
made by
games.
pictures of feet, as far as I
That
can
sounds
tell.
badass. That's Fantasy Twins. Um, I hate this. I hate this. But I also like I just can't stand like subversive games when they're like, "Oh, you didn't think it'd be like this, did ya?" um, and I'm looking at Undertale. Doki Doki Literature Club sucks. And it's just like it's one of those things where if you play it and you're like, "Man, that was kind of crazy." Nothing wrong with that. But it's been like 6 years. Why are people still like, oh my god, you gotta get the Doki Doki Literature Club Super Mega Expansion Pack? Do I? I think it said its piece, you know? Let it go.
I mean, at this point, I think like especially with like Doki Doki Literature Club, I think the best part of it was that no one saw it coming, and now that everyone knows what's coming, I feel like it does cheapen it, right?
Yeah. And honestly, even when you like saw it coming, and not to say that like I'm like too cool or immune from these things, because I played it without spoilers back when it was like new.
Mm-hmm.
It was back that was back when I was streaming, and it was like, oh man, that was kind of dark. Huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's doing the file editing thing on my computer. That's crazy. But it wasn't, I was never like, my life has changed and my mind has been shattered. I'm like, that was a really cool trick from the developers. Or, you know, I can see kind of in hindsight how that character development was taking place, but I just wasn't privy to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of like, I feel like sometimes people will be like, now this is going to be consuming my thoughts for years because I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It's all right, man. Let your ego go. Just accept that sometimes you get got. Sometimes people are smarter than you, and sometimes they play hands that you're not privy to, and that's okay. Appreciate them and move on.
Incorrect. I never get got. I cannot be got.
I actually never get got, so when I do, it's the biggest deal in the universe.
I've never been caught in my life.
Yeah. The same dudes who will do shrooms once and be like, I had an ego death. You're like, my brother in Christ, that's called empathy. You should have already had that. Like, did you, like, it's like everyone's connected on a level. Yeah, motherfucker, everyone knows that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows that, like, it's literally called empathy. It sucks that you didn't have it until you were high off your ass and scared. But believe it or not, some people are scared more often than when they're on hard drugs. Sometimes they're scared because that's what it's like to exist as them. But, you know.
Oh yeah.
I actually haven't dealt with anyone like that in a long time.
Nice.
And I think that's because I don't live in Austin anymore.
That does make sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like that was something that, like, when I was working, especially at, like, bars and, like, in restaurants and stuff in Austin, that was, like, it's 30% of my coworkers.
Oh yeah, that honestly that makes sense. It's just going to be like one of those things where you're like minding your business, and even if it wasn't a coworker, if it was a customer, that sounds like the kind of area that would be something that's talked about.
I mean, it's like, if you're, like, a 22-year-old, like, well-off white guy in Texas, you've never had to have empathy because you've probably never been scared of anything around you because you're a 22-year-old white dude in Texas.
Mhm.
Like, I mean,
Yeah, that sounds about
you
right.
talk about like, yeah, it's just, and not that like other places it would be too much different, but that's like an area where specifically, like, it's Texas.
Mhm.
Like, anyway, this has been a trip. How do you like Persona 5? I love Persona 5.
Yeah, I like it a lot so far. I just finished the second palace, Madarame,
Okay.
and I like it a lot. It does blow my mind how much they do just make the same game. Like, I know I've clowned on a few games for doing that before, like Pokemon is the same essential thing, each time.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you call? Call of Duty is essentially the same thing, but like not only is this the same gameplay, this is also the same like story. Like
Yeah.
all the beats are the same. All the
Oh man, no, I can't wait until you play Fire Emblem.
I'm not going to play Fire Emblem. I'm good to pass on that one.
Come on.
But I know they are
It's so good.
very 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 much all the same.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where like, it's honestly like if you've ever watched the the Brian's his first name, I think Polygon guy
Yeah, Brian David Gilbert.
did like a did like the I'm not too familiar. I know he's like an internet icon. I've only seen a couple videos, but one of them was about Fire Emblem, and it's like really funny to me because it was just like talking about the way that archetypes are employed in a way that is similar to traditional theater. And I think not only does Fire Emblem heavily do that, but like Persona does it just as hard, if not harder. Where it's like, oh man, I can't believe we have. Let me check my card here. Ooh, gruff father figure who's slightly standoffish but ultimately very caring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what's his, and I think it's because they use the tarot cards.
Yeah. So they have to have like consistent people, but like you don't have to every single game meet, oh, this is my blonde friend. He's a troublemaker. He's my first friend. This is the girl one. She's my second friend.
Like, you don't have to, but I kind of can appreciate that they do that in the Persona games, just because it's like, well, it almost becomes a flipped script where instead of being like, oh, I wonder who the blonde friend is, you're like, oh, that's the blonde friend. And then like the rest of the story comes secondary because you already know the archetype and kind of what to expect out of the character.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's an immediate familiarity. We're like, oh, that's gonna be the attractive girl who has some problems, and that's gonna be the second one introduced to the plot. I don't know. I kind of can get behind it, but it's very much like that, with exceptions. But
yeah, I don't know. I like it though. It's nice to because I love the story of 4. It was fun, and I never finished it, but like I mostly knew where it was going. I think. And I'm excited to relive a lot of my favorite like moments ish again, but in a different way.
yeah,
The
I think there's a lot of fun moments and there's a lot of fun times, and they're really good games if you got 100 hours to spare.
mhm. I am blown away at how long the game does take though. I did forget cuz like on Persona 4, and I know that they changed this for a reason. Your first day entering the palace, you could clear it. So if you just want to put
Yeah.
in 6 hours into the place in one go or likely less, as long as you can find your way through it, you're done. You're fine. You're set. But if you don't want to do that, you could split it up over a couple days. The guides, because I play with a guide to make my life better, and the guide would have 3 different days that it would budget for you to do that with. So you had a little spare time if you decide to do it in one go. But I always did it in one go because it just made sense, right?
I always do it in one go because I don't really want to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of the worst part of the game.
Like I just want to hang out with my friends and go to the burger shop and eat the challenge burger.
Yeah.
Like I don't really like care about the plot. I just want to like make friendships
Mhm.
and have a good time and go to the beach.
Yeah, I love the friend simulator aspect of it much much more than the gameplay itself for the most part. But hey, what you going to do?
Yeah, I think that's like a lot of the fun is like the life simulator aspects of it. And of course, everyone out there who is whether or not they've ever played a Shin Megami Tensei game, they'll know about them and they'll be like, "Yeah, but it's like the adult version. Okay, man, like congrats. Whoa. Like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have a lot of hate for Persona games because they perceive them as like you're just a high schooler hanging out with their friends. Like, yeah, I'm just a high schooler hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know,
all
man.
about the way you perceive it.
That I feel like that's the oversimplified breakdown of almost every game, you know?
Yeah, well, no, it's just because like the games that like Persona spun off from
Mhm.
are known for being more dark and more gritty. It's kind of like some people act as if a game being darker or more intense or more adult in its themes makes it better always.
Yeah, no, I do hate
And I
that.
feel like that happens a lot with like the Persona and SMT people. Is like the Shin Megami Tensei folks. Sometimes they don't have a problem, and it's like that's just the game they prefer overall. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But sometimes they'll be like, yeah, it's not like a kiddie game like Persona, and you're like, the games are made by the same people out of love because they care about both properties. They're not competing; they're collaborating, and they're published by the same company because they're having fun making different versions of the similar ideas. Why are you mad?
Hmm.
It's like if someone told you you shouldn't watch, I don't know, like the Avengers because Spider-Man's better. Like my brother in Christ, they're both made by the same studio for your enjoyment.
Hmm.
They're not they don't hate each other. They're just let them be.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be doesn't need to be a fight.
Yeah. I'm looking for a new desktop background. What should I pick?
Uh, I mean that car seat headrest album cover looks pretty good unless it's the 20 minutes it's been your backdrop has been too much already.
It's been too much. Yeah, I need something
No,
new.
yeah, you know what we should do is you should get one of those really really cool pictures of a skeleton on a motorcycle who's flipping the bird and he's on fire and he's got guns. There's probably like an eagle. You know what?
What about like this?
Oh no. That's just a big anteater.
Yeah, well, giant anteater
Oh,
technically.
I'm sorry, not a big anteater, a giant anteater. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
good. You should definitely do that.
Oh, it doesn't quite fit. Like there's like a little black bar on top. What can you do about that?
You could add meme text to the top of it.
No, what can you
Oh,
do
what can
about that? Like this
I
is a
do
problem
about it?
you need
Oh,
to work.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I will fix it by loading it into Photoshop and fixing it for you. That's definitely what I will do.
That makes my life a lot easier. There's one of an anteater playing with an orange.
An anteater with an orange. Nice.
Like it's a playing with it. Do you like anteaters?
I have no issues with anteaters. I don't know that I would say that I like them so much as I just like am generally positive.
I'm a huge fan. Like they're like just honestly like solid fellers. And it's kind of it makes like a lot of the job of talking about them a lot
Hmm.
easier or like learning about them. Cause like it's not like, hey, this is like an ocelot, sometimes known as the fisherman cat. It oftentimes will be sitting outside of shallow bodies of moving water in order to try and catch prey. Instead, you're like, yeah, it's a motherfucking anteater. I'll give you one guess as to what it does. That
Hmm.
shit eats ants.
What?
As what
Shit, that's not what I
it is
expected at all.
built. It is built for eating ants. It is so good at eating ants that like that's just what they call it. They're like, yeah, that's the anteater right there. And I respect it.
Damn.
It's like I feel like I love a good panda, but I think a panda would be an actual S tier animal if it was called like bamboo eater. Because it's like it doesn't give you any questions about what it does. Like what does an anteater do all day? That guy is eating ants.
I don't know that anteater really lets you know the fact that it really does just hoover up those ants, though.
Yeah. It's just like it's built for it. It's built Ford tough. Its claws are just like metal as hell. They can literally puncture concrete. But you know what it does with them? It eats ants. Like this thing could like put a hole in your like hood in the hood of your car. But you know what it does instead? It just like digs a little bit and sucks on some ants.
What a nice guy, honestly.
It's just hilarious.
Dare
And
I
it's got
say,
like
a saint.
it's just got like one big stripe. Like what part of the evolution of an anteater was like the system just like, hey, dog, you know what would make you better at eating ants and living in Brazil? Like what if you just had like a black stripe on your chest? And then it was like, oh yeah, that'll do the trick.
That sounds like it, honestly. That it sounds like the one thing that was missing this whole time.
Hey, I know you're doing great with the ants and stuff, but what if you had like a weird like half moon across your throat?
Oh, I mean, I guess I could try.
That's what anteaters actually sound like
I mean, I don't know why they
if
wouldn't.
they could talk.
Makes sense to me.
You got a favorite animal?
I was always a big fan of foxes, honestly. I like foxes a lot.
Yeah.
Otters too.
I actually like saw a fox and then some little kits running across the road the other day when I was driving home.
Oh,
And
nice. I
was like, oh, there they
I
go.
don't know that I've actually seen one in person before, which bums me out a little bit, but I do know that I like them.
There's a couple fox dens around here. Like a red fox, you talking?
Any kind of fox. But yeah, a red fox is
I think-
specifically the one that I like.
I think Giblet's kind of like a fox when you think about it.
I actually would agree with that.
Because he's like small and has like a tail.
Mm-hmm.
Giblet. Yeah, I don't know. I like a good fox. It's a classic animal. Regal, majestic.
And they bounce. I like the bounce.
Yeah, they do all sorts of really cute stuff. Like, it just sucks that at no point someone was like, we gotta bring these guys inside.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I heard that like people tried to domesticate them and it just never really worked out.
I can see that having happened. I know people do keep some foxes as pets,
Mhm.
but it's not like you can just keep a fox as a pet.
Yeah.
And I understand, but man, it would be so fun because it's like the perfect mix of cat and dog.
Mm-hmm. They do that.
It's
that
just,
cute
like,
little
doggy
bark
enough.
thing, but they're also very cat-like.
Yeah, and I feel like they're kind of sturdy like a dog. They're a little bit, they're a little bit round, like a
Mm-hmm.
the dog roundness.
A little clunky, but also like neum. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't mind a coyote. Also, I think a lot of people have hate for them.
Yeah.
But they're just like smaller wolves. Like, why are people so mad?
I think probably because they're small wolves.
That's true, but people love wolves. Like, if you're like, oh yeah, my favorite animal is like a wolf, everyone's like, oh hell yeah, that's so cool. But if you're like, yeah, I love a good coyote, they're like, I'm sick of the haters.
No, I can get behind you on that one. That makes sense. I get that.
Yeah, like I feel like I don't love them, and I understand that. I think a lot of the reason people don't like them is because they're like they prey on like pretty much everything people have. Like pretty much all forms of like livestock, they'll take out like baby cattle, and like obviously chickens, geese, ducks, even cats and small dogs, and even some medium-sized dogs. So like I understand that like, there's like a dislike of them, but it's not like they do it because they're shitheads.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not doing it to be a dick. They're just like a wild animal who sees food that's just sitting still in a cage, and they're like, oh hell yeah. Because, like, if you were to put a thing of fried chicken in a box and then I were to find it, I would probably eat it. And in that regard, I'm no different than a coyote. Only they don't fry the chicken because they don't have hands or deep fryers, probably. Definitely for the hands, probably for the deep fryers because, I don't know. I don't know enough.
I don't know too many
about coyotes to
myself,
confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know enough about coyotes to confirm they don't have access to deep fryers, but, like, there is the Chicago Quiznos coyote.
The what?
A Chicago Quiznos coyote?
I don't think I heard about that.
It's Chicago Quiznos Coyote Friday. It's like a thing. It's a holiday.
Huh.
Thank you for just like accepting this. It's just an image of a coyote that had wandered into a Quiznos in Chicago and was like hanging out inside, and they were like, "Yeah, we gotta, here's the image. Noah, can you put that on the screen for those of us who are so inclined? That's Chicago Quiznos coyote.
Oh my gosh.
It just is.
Coyotes just look like
It's
that.
literally just. Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like, what would you do?
I mean,
if you were like a wild animal and you got stuck inside of a sub shop, and then like they locked you in and then waited for animal control to get there.
it's more the fact that face just kind of looks like it looks like a bad taxidermy.
I looked up Chicago Quiznos coyote, and there's someone's fursona is the Chicago Quiznos coyote that showed up on the images, and that's really funny to me. Like, just imagine someone be like, "Oh, what's your fursona?" You're like, "Oh, is it like a coyote?" No, it's a Chicago Quiznos coyote.
Gotta be specifically.
There's a flag?
I'm sorry, there's a Chicago Quiznos coyote flag.
This is like, I think this is the same person whose fursona it is.
Holy shit. We're cracking this wide open. And by we, I mean ye. Ye are cracking this wide open.
This appears to be the Tumblr of someone who is
really
identifies as non-human, and specifically the Chicago Quiznos coyote. I don't know if I'm just gonna like gut off of it. It's not worth talking about because I don't know if it's a joke or not, and I don't want to like say it is or say it isn't. It's just not.
If it's a serious thing,
it's
then there's
very
no reason to
it's
dunk
very
it because it's
yeah.
bad form.
But it also is one of those things where it partially seems as if it's like a joke, but if it is a joke, who's the joke on, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get into it either way. Like
dangerous.
If you're a Arizona, big Chicago Quiznos Coyote fan though. That's my new desktop background, by the way.
Chicago Quiznos Coyote. That's a good choice. Because you can chop the top off of that a little bit and make it fit just fine.
Mm-hmm. Choose a fit.
Jackson, what are we doing?
Oh yeah. Oh, what do you mean?
I personally, I am so lost. I have no idea what we're doing.
Why? I think we're like understanding a lot more about the world we live in.
I guess this is kind of true.
Thank you.
I feel so like blown away by everything right now. Also, I have not slept well these last few days. I was up until 4 a.m. the other night, if you'll believe it.
Why were you up till 4 a.m.?
It was a birthday party, not mine, but a friend.
Whoa.
I know.
You were partying hard.
Well, I wasn't because I was just coming off my gout run. I had a little nice little flare up, and alcohol's bad for that. So I'm like, no alcohol for me here. I had a little bit, but not like a lot. And then I was hanging out, and we were just like shooting the shit. And it was 4 a.m. and I'm like, I need to go to bed. And then I went to sleep, and I woke up 5 hours later and went to work for an 8.5 hour day.
How was that?
Pretty miserable. And then I came home and I crashed, and then I worked another long day today. So, it do be what it is.
How's life been at the state store?
It's been nice, honestly. I have a blast with it. Yeah, I don't know.
How's the gout?
Not good.
Is it like, did it happen because like, is it like a government type of like I don't know, psyop to try and like stop you from being Italian?
Honestly, I'm starting to think that though, right? Because like it used to just be I was fine and I could live my life every day and it was good. And then I spent 1 week where I drank more beer than water, which is very out of character for me. And I also had an Italian sub when I got home. And after that, my body's like, that's it. You can't do that ever again. And the way it decided to make sure that happened is if I spend too many days in a row where I eat like lunch meat, I get a gout flare up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like you have been chosen as like if you eat the gabagool, you have to suffer. It's like you're I was gonna say it's like you're Jesus in the desert, but that's fucked up. And the deli guy at the counter is Satan.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine now. It's all done, but I don't know, this whole week has been exhausting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's kind of one of those problems that it just all you can do is manage and mitigate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not much to be done, and that's okay, but it does bum me out a little bit. On the flip side, now that I'm better, I can actually do other things again, like work without a cane and get this kink out of my back. Yo, okay,
Oh.
so here's a funny thing that is actually not that funny. My manager kept talking about how he wasn't sure if he had to report me using a cane at work or not.
What do you mean?
Well,
like you get a write up for it?
Well, here's the thing. This guy was just like, yeah, I don't know, man. I know at one point this person had to have a boot on, and they were told that they had to either take it off or go get a doctor's like order to wear the boot,
What?
And I'm like, well, I don't have a recent thing that I can tell you, but I can I can show you my stuff from like a year ago when I got diagnosed and everything, I think, if I could find it, but that's the best I've got. And yeah, he just kept talking about that every day. He's like, do you think I need to like tell the district manager about this or not? Do you think I need to like let him know?
Weird.
And I'm like, why do you keep bringing this up? And it's one of those things where it's like, man, I have to use a mobility aid for like 4 days. And that was like the weirdest exchange I've ever had in my life. I can't imagine living like that and having that be like, I don't know if Noah should be allowed to walk around.
Yeah, like that's such a shitty like, oh, I don't know, should I do something about you using like a mobility aid while you're having a flare up of like
A
uh
chronic
long-term
condition.
illness?
Yeah, it's
Like
like
should what do you
it was so
uh,
weird. It was so weird. I don't know. Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all.
yeah. That's it. I'm going in there. I'm throwing hands.
Throwing hands. Yeah, I'll tell you the boss that did our like because he's like the assistant, right? Our main manager is coming back, and since they're coming back, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, make sure you don't have your cane by the time the manager's back, so that we definitely don't have to follow this up. Don't ask, don't tell. And I'm like, why are you making such a big deal
Yeah.
out of me with
Why would
this?
the manager be like, you got to get out of here because you're having a flare up and using a cane for a few days at a time when you're having an issue? That's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's just shitty.
very weird, very off.
Your boss is canceled.
Canceled is all hell. So your work is done now, right? Like you're wrapped.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
It's all over. I'll be doing it again next season though for credit, so that'll be nice. I'll be able to just do the internship and then have one class and then I'll graduate.
Nice. Oh, that's super exciting. Are you gonna become my
Yeah, no,
upstairs
it's
neighbor?
probably not.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean it's not impossible, but
Unfortunate.
unlikely. I mean I don't know what your upstairs neighbor situation is like.
They're still
But
here, so.
yeah, well exactly. I don't know what it'll be like in the future, or if I can have cats or anything like that.
Yeah, he did say no
So
cats. That was a big one.
that sucks. Cats are cool.
I do love cats. I wish I was less allergic because cats absolutely murder me. But man, they're so great. Cats are great. Oh well.
I'm trying to think if I've been up to anything lately. I mean, with the season ending, and my semester ending pretty soon as well.
Hmm.
I've been just like mudding, in the mud, if you will. So not really doing anything. And the weather's been really great, but I've been working a lot on some of my final projects and stuff. So haven't been getting the fresh air experience. Of course, it's like a horrible thunderstorm right now, but
Yeah, I was honestly worried that I was gonna lose power, and that we wouldn't be able to
yeah,
record. But luckily for me, the rain like absolutely dumped for like 15 minutes. And then by the time I got home, it had actually stopped. Yeah, it's not even sprinkling now. It's just kind
yeah,
of hazy out. I bet it's
it
gonna
came
happen again.
down in like a huge downpour here after thundering for about an hour,
Oh, you
and
got
then it was done in
thunder?
like 10 minutes. Yeah, for like an
Man,
hour.
I didn't get any thunder. Well, maybe no, I would have noticed. Work isn't that loud. I would have noticed. Yeah, I didn't get any thunder. All I got was like rain out of nowhere, and that was it.
I mean, it's definitely been nice though the last couple days. Just, I mean, even though it's been like bad weather and it's gonna snow, it's gonna snow. It's gonna snow in 2 days. That's insane. Anyway,
It is.
even though the weather's been kind of crappy,
Hmm.
or is going to be kind of crappy, it's been really nice the last couple days, and it always just like is a nice time of year when you kind of get out of that. At least for me, like that seasonal depression that kind of sets in with no sunlight, no warmth around here for 4 or 5 months,
Yeah.
and like just like a couple sunny days, and all of a sudden I start like just feeling like more myself. I'm like, man, I feel like this, and this, way more motivated to do things, way more motivated to pick up my hobbies that I hadn't really done much with in the last couple months. It's amazing what a nice day will do for you. I'm talking about furries again, so it's really it's really coming back around.
Things are back. Things are back. Yeah, I was bummed out. I haven't worked on Sundays in a long time, but yesterday, for listeners of the podcast that don't live in the same town me and Jackson do, it was 80 degrees. Like,
Yeah,
it was nice. It was really nice. And it's the first Sunday I've worked in like 3 months. Not 3 months, but like almost 2 months. This is the first Sunday I've worked. And I was like, I was getting used to not working on Sundays. I'm like, hell yeah, look at this. This is great. Oh, here I am now. Ah, bummed me out. There was so much like nice weather happening, and then today, it's raining. Tomorrow it's raining, snowing. But the windows are
I
all
can't
open.
believe it was 80 degrees and then it's snowing. And it's one of those things where like people who suck will be like, "That's just the weather for you. in place where I live, where weather's the craziest.
Mm-hmm.
We've been over this. It's my least favorite bit that people do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, 100%. It's simply not a fun bit. And mostly, if we're being honest, it's because it doesn't make me feel better in the moment. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it doesn't I'm not gonna pretend, right? I've done it once or twice. I won't pretend I haven't. But like I don't know that I've legitimately sincerely done that in ages. And I don't know, sometimes I just like I'm allowed to be unhappy about the weather. I don't want people to be like, "Well, you knew what you were signing up for when you came here." It's like, "Well, not really. I was
Yeah,
born
it's
here.
just
I haven't
small
moved."
talk. Like, weather talk is just small talk. Let somebody say, it's gonna suck tomorrow, and then don't be like, that's weather here where it's so crazy. Because
Mhm.
sometimes it's hot, and then sometimes over the period of days when a cold front moves into the area, the temperature drops. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm complaining about, and it's okay. I'm not like, it's not the end of the world. It's just, it sucks it's gonna snow. That's all.
Mhm. Man, I do love when weather's happening though cuz it gives me a dumb little like small talk thing to do while I check people out.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing more fun than just being like to an "Ah, fuck. Did I haven't told this story to too many people yet. So I'm going to tell it in audio form to be memorialized forever instead of on Twitter or something." So the other day, I have run out of conversation topics at this point. You know, you can reuse the same 3 all day, but you end up getting bored of them, you know?
Exactly.
And I greet this guy with a, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Not too bad, young man. How are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, not too bad, old man."
I do
And
love that one.
cause
Uh,
as he said it, I'm like, "Heh heh, what if I said that?" And then I said it out loud. And as I'm saying it, I'm like, "Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why am I saying that?" He's like, "Oh, thanks for that one. Got me." And I'm just like, "Ah, shoot."
that is a pretty good one though, because it's like, is it like a kind of inappropriate thing to say? A little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know the person, but it's also kind of like, is it an old man joke? 100%. And as a result, I feel like there's some like old man, like he realizes he's like, you played me at my own game.
I think if he was older, it would have played better. If he had like a head of
Mhm.
white hair instead of just like being like mid 50s, I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
it
I,
would.
I thought this was talking about like an 80-year-old here.
No, no. If it was an 80-year-old, that man would have fallen over laughing. Like the guy today who was like, when I said, "How you doing?" He's like, "I'm old and I'm bitter and ornery." And I'm like, "What a coincidence. I'm young, bitter, and ornery." And he's like, "You can't be like that. You have to be young and
Yeah. I love
full of pep."
some
And I'm like, "You're right. Just
sometimes
a
old
second."
people are great.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm like, man, I love old men. They're so funny. And then I look at Congress and change my mind. But for
Yeah.
like a brief moment when I interact with some goofy grandpas, I'm like, so you guys are all right.
Yeah. Because for the rest of
And
the
then I
guy's
remember
order,
Mitch
I put on
McConnell, and
this
it's just
big
like,
dumb like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" type of like over enthusiastic thing that he matched like the whole time. And he's like, "Oh, I gotta go get home." "Oh, ho, hey, you have a good day. I'm gonna go home. Hey, baby, have a good one." And then he fist bumped me, and I'm like, "What the hell? What just happened? This is great." I think small town old men versus Congress old men, it's definitely a different energy, you know?
it depends. It also depends on the old men.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
There
because there's
are there are
definitely small town old
exceptions.
men that are terrible.
It just like when I see like a happy and nice old guy, I'm like, I want to be like that one day. I want to be a happy, nice old person.
Mhm.
Like I don't want to be like a bitter, shitty old person.
Bitter, shitty old person. Hey, why not?
Yeah, I want to be a cool old guy.
Someday, right? I'm gonna be the old guy that's covered in tattoos, so I'm gonna be wildly hit or miss, you know?
What do you mean? You don't have control over this?
Well, I mean, I hope I have control over it, but man, people's impression of me are gonna be so like
Oh, that's true,
the
yeah.
the immediate visual impression because there's like every time I see an old man with a tattoo, it's either like the one old guy who like he's clearly an old biker, but he has like bad
Mhm.
arthritis shakes, so he doesn't like. Well, I know I'm selling him alcohol, but he's not in enough for it to be alcohol shakes. He's buying a small amount, and I only see him once every like 3 weeks. But yeah, this guy comes in and he's cool. He's fun. He and I like just have a quick little talk. There's the other old guy with tattoos who shit talks young people today with their name brand alcohol and says, Kessler's done it for me all these years and it tastes better than Jack Daniels. And I'm like, yes, sir. And I've never had that in my life, so I don't know. But you know, he was adamant, so I wasn't gonna argue.
I do love when like someone's it has like a really really intense stance on something that like you have literally no care about at all. Cause like they'll be like, yeah, you gotta do this, and I'm like, that's so true, bestie. You get them, and I just don't give a shit. I could not give a shit about the type of liquor that you think is the best,
Mm-hmm.
random man. But I give so little of a shit sometimes that I don't even want to like not care. I want to just be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm on board.
No, that's always what I do. Because he opened up talking about how he loved Ezra Miller and he thought that was better than Jack Daniels. And I'm like, you know what? I agree with you. I think that is an underrated cheap bourbon. That's fine.
Is that not the
What?
person who played the Flash?
Um,
Is that
is that them?
I think you're talking about the person who played the Flash and then also like continually like commits weird acts of violence. I think
Ezra Brooks.
I don't
Ezra
know.
Brooks. I'm sorry, not Ezra Miller.
I was like, that's not a liquor, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm talking about Ezra Brooks. I'm sorry. He said Ezra Brooks was the best bourbon out there, like full stop. Which I don't think that's
So
true,
true.
but I do think that it is great like budget bourbon. So you know, I just decided, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. You are very correct. And I don't know. Now here we are.
Yeah, that is. I do like when people like, especially when I was working at the liquor store as well. There are a lot of people who come in there with like these insanely strong held beliefs about brands of essentially like distilled grains.
Yeah.
Like I understand if you're like, oh, I prefer this. You know, I have my preferences too. But some people will be like, I would never drink anything but Tito's. Like never? It's not that like you'll be all right.
Yeah, it's not that deep.
Like like you'll be okay if someone hands you a little Grey Goose. You'll be all right. You'll make it. You might not like it as much. And you maybe that's only like self-made. I mean, if you're putting it with a whole bunch of cranberry juice, at that point you're just like placeboing yourself.
Exactly. Just buy yourself some platinum. Like, yeah, you don't have to go all the way down to Nikolai. Don't feel like don't treat
It is
yourself
7
that poorly.
times distilled.
It is 7 times distilled. You're right. Uh man, I do hate cheap vodka.
I honestly don't think I've ever had like super low like cheap vodka.
I've had Vlad before. I've never tried
I've
Crown
not.
Rus. I've never tried what's the other? Kamchatka. But I've tried Vlad and Nikolai, and they're really bad, dude. They're really bad.
Yeah. I mean I believe it. I have no desire to try them because I don't drink enough that I need to worry about saving. You know? Like if I buy a bottle of liquor, at least like for me, just because I don't drink very often,
Yeah.
like I'll have the same bottle of liquor in my house for a year.
Mm-hmm. No,
So I don't
strong
really
agree.
care if I spend $30 on it. But at the same time, because I don't drink that much, I am not gonna spend like $50 on it.
Mm-hmm.
So like because I know I don't go through it, I'm not gonna spend a ton of money. And because I don't go through it, I don't mind spending more than bare minimum. So I always kind of fall in the middle.
Yeah, I every now and then I want to try something nicer. So I'll go and I'll try at a bar, right? I'll pay the premium and do that. But you know, for the most part, like I know what I like. I like fucking absinthe and like shit like that, you know, like and one bottle of absinthe and sambuca and ouzo, like that kind of stuff will last me for a very long time.
Yeah. I just keep thinking back to the time when I drank like an entire bottle of Sambuca in a cemetery and then threw up everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd still drink it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Because I've also never been, like, I've gotten sick on things before, but I've never been like, I'm never trying that again. You know, I think the sickest I ever got while drinking was actually live on stream one time when I drank during a Nuzlocke / like donation incentivized drinking stream. I literally consumed like a bottle and a half of vodka.
Yeah.
Roughly like 40 ounces of liquor. And then I like like got very ill.
I remember that. Didn't you give like
you know,
channel ownership privileges to someone by accident at one point?
no, I just like left for a while.
For the best.
Like I left my roommate in charge for a bit. Was it?
That's not a bad idea. That's okay.
Yeah, I was like, can you just come sit? Can you come sit out here? Because he like kept periodically like coming in to check on me as I was getting progressively more and more like wasted.
Mm-hmm.
And he was completely sober. He was just hanging out like in his room doing whatever, and he kept poking his head in as I'm like belligerently drunk trying to play Pokemon. And then I started playing like Mario Tennis. You know I'm under the influence when I bust out Mario Tennis. I don't think I've ever played that game sober.
Yeah, there's no reason to. Mario Tennis, like okay, here hard opinion. Mario Baseball is one of the like goated slept on Nintendo titles. Hard opinion.
No, I agree. I agree actually. I think Mario Tennis gets way too much credit and it never really delivers as hard as it can because like I don't know, it doesn't ever feel as like though it's at its best.
Because when it comes down to it, you're hitting the A button and moving the stick, and that's like almost it. Which whatever. You can argue that's just video games, Noah. But like, there's not a lot to it. If I want to play a Mario sports game like that, I'll play the soccer one because that was good. It was enjoyable and fun. And will I say that 90% of what made that enjoyable and fun was the soccer fan chanting in the background? Yeah, that definitely like kicked it up to 11. I'm not going to pretend it didn't.
I mean, I feel like the Mario sports games, and this is a bit of a hater take, like why did they make for the Switch golf and tennis, the ones that like people wouldn't have been like pogged about?
Yeah.
If they would have done baseball and soccer, everyone would have been way more excited.
Dude, another Mario soccer game would sell like crazy. Like,
I mean, I'm kind of excited for the new like Wii Sports, or I don't know if it's called Switch Sports or what it's called.
Yeah.
But like the reiteration of Wii Sports. I really want to play it. It seems like it's a lot of fun. Because Wii Sports is like honestly one of the most fun Nintendo games of all time.
It was just a good time. There was a lot of stuff going on. I love all these. I don't know what to Google, so I just Googled new Wii Sports. And the people also ask, is there going to be a new Wii Sports? And the immediate thing is Nintendo Switch Sports is a new iteration of the Wii Sports series.
Nice.
I heard they have
I
really weird bowling though, which is fine.
I heard
but
that
like,
motherfucker has like 30 goddamn dicks.
That wasn't the direction I was going, but you know what? More power to you.
You guys remember that?
Thanks.
The George Washington song?
What?
Early YouTube, everybody. Washington. You know that one? Okay, it's fine.
No.
12 stories high and made of radiation. It's fine.
I thought you were talking about the bowling ball porn.
No. You think I'm that boring? I'm talking about George Washington video from back in the YouTube times. Let me see Switch Sports though. Switch Sports. Is it out?
I don't think so.
April 29th. Oh, wow.
It's about to be
like
out.
Really soon.
It'll be out on episode release day? Day after episode release day.
Yeah. Oh, is there like a fencing? Is there a sword fighting game? At the risk of there's soccer, there's volleyball. Holy shit. No, we got to play this game. There's badminton?
Badminton?
Oh, I'm losing my mind. I fucking love badminton.
I love badminton.
And Chambra?
I used to play that
like
all
if
the time.
There's one thing you need to know about me, like if I have like a secret ability, it's that I fully believe something in my brain is like really good with I don't want to say swords, but kinda like for whatever reason, like it just like clicks right for my brain, and I really love like sword play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any like really experience outside of like when I was a child and like some like hobby stuff, but it's just like the most satisfying thing. Yeah, this game looks sick as hell. Badminton, oh, I love badminton. It's just like tennis, but more accessible for people who suck at tennis.
Yeah. Because you don't have to worry about the floor bounce rule. It's just like, it can't hit the ground or that's it. Done.
And it's just like it goes slower, and then like you can spike it every once in a while, but it's pretty easy to tell when it's going to be spiked, and it's just Yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. The soccer looks pretty good, and you put the Joy-Con on your leg, it looks like, for soccer.
I don't know about that. That
So
is
you
one
actually like
thing.
run in place and kick.
I think that's the one thing that I don't like about the things that they've managed to do with the Switch is that it's just like,
Wait, Switch Sports Soccer just looks like Rocket League.
oh no.
I'm not kidding. Like if you look at it, it looks just like Rocket League with like a comically oversized ball and like a really large net, super small characters. I mean, obviously it's very different than Rocket League in that you're not a car, but I'm looking at it right now and I think maybe that's like totally fine. But volleyball, very excited for that. I'm a volleyball head.
Nice to see more games like just fun sports games coming out on the Switch though. It was definitely
Yeah.
Wii Sports was such a weird hit. Sports Resort, kind of a miss.
I never played. Apparently people love it, but I never played because you had to buy it.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. Like it wasn't bad, but you had to have the Motion Plus. And if you didn't have Wii Motion Plus, you couldn't play. And
Yeah,
like
and
that's
exactly. I didn't have
understandable.
Remotion Plus.
But on top of all that, it was just like, it's fine. It's not bad. It's fine. But it
Yeah.
was
No,
only
Wii
fine.
Sports. Wii Sports, everybody loved and played because it was a bundle game. You know, everybody had it.
Oh yeah.
So like you know, you went over to a friend's house and they're like, "Oh, you want to play Wii Sports?" And you didn't know how to be like, "Oh, how do you do that?" Because if you had a Wii, you knew how to play because
Yeah.
it's what you had.
Mhm.
And then like Wii Play was a little different, but that game also kind of worked as almost a tie-in because it came with a free controller.
Yeah.
So if you were buying a controller, it was like buy a controller or buy a controller, and it also comes with a free game.
Wii Play was not good though. I feel like that's an important thing to
Disagree. I really like
Really?
Wii Play.
I only
I have a lot
liked
of
a couple of the Wii Play games.
the Wii Play Tanks game is insanely fun. The Wii Play Cow Racing game, I loved it, and Wii Play Fishing, I loved.
Okay.
So I will bat for Wii Play.
I like the Wii Play Tank game. I thought that one was a lot of fun.
That was really good. Yeah.
Very much a fan of that. But the other games, the memory game, not fun. The match game, like pose match, not fun. All in all, not terrible, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, this looks really cool actually.
I would in a heartbeat buy the new Mario Super Sluggers if it came out though. Nintendo, you wanna give me a Super Sluggers?
I don't know if that's happening. You know what? The digital edition is only $40. Not that makes it like cheap because you know it's still $40, but like it's nice that they didn't try and charge like 60 for it because they want it to be such a core game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The physical is apparently 50 because it comes with a leg strap.
See, that might be worth it to get the leg strap because
Do you need the leg strap?
I feel like you'd kind of, unless you want to like find like just kind of rig your own.
Yeah. I don't want to do that. You know, maybe I'm gonna get the Wii Play or the Super Wii Sports Switch. I feel like I could have a lot of fun with it.
It's a new era of returning to the old era.
I'm not a big sports games head, but I think I could be if it was for the I don't know. I remember the first Wii Sports so fondly. Maybe I'm just nostalgia tripping though. I don't want to, you know, get caught up in it. But this game looks like it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and especially like the sword fighting game because that's like I love that. I mean, I still love like play fighting with sticks. That shit goes hard forever. The caveman brain loves it.
I will say the sword fighting was definitely a high point of Sports Resort. That was great.
Yeah, and again, I never played Sports Resort. I wish I had in hindsight, but yeah, I think this is probably as good a point. I don't want to go too much longer here.